What's next? Who else can we expect to come through Foxborough?
Listen, they have a league-high 12 draft picks. They've got a bunch of early picks. And right now, this is a team that really does need to reload. They lost some serious firepower. You lose Rob Gronkowski. You lose Danny Amendola. You lose some of the players that they have the last few years. They need to get Tom Brady more help. Tom Brady's in the latter part of his career. He's trying to repeat as a Super Bowl champion. The whole team is. And right now, they're shorthanded on the offensive end. So they're not done. They get Seferian-Jenkins done. It's a nice addition. T.J. Yeldon, Demaryius Thomas visits yesterday. Josh McDaniels, the Patriots offensive coordinator, drafted Demaryius Thomas in Denver. There's a relationship there. They know each other. He's coming off the torn Achilles. I think these are the players and the pieces that the Patriots are now looking to add at this particular point in time as we get ready to go into the draft 2 weeks today, where they are armed with more draft ammunition than any team in the league.
12 picks, Jim, and to Adam's point, they need to come away with players, actual players.
Yeah, they need to get Tom weapons. And these moves make sense because they're a game plan team. They change week to week. That's going to be hard to do. It's hard to reload with a bunch of rookies that are trying to learn and keep up with Tom. They need to bring in some veterans that can get up to speed. Like Josh knows Demaryius. That's a great point by Adam. You know, he can come in and learn. You know, they've got the backs. I like the T.J. Yeldon. I mean, he was a good player coming out of Alabama. That's intriguing to me. But, yeah, getting Tom weapons, now they got Seferian-Jenkins. They can address tight end with a young guy, but not have to play him right away. They'll have a veteran there in Seferian-Jenkins. So it's all going to be – this draft's going to be about getting Tom some people.
And you said, what, 12 draft picks you have?
That's right.
It's a lot of draft picks, and I doubt that they use all of them.
They usually don't.
Are some of those draft picks going to be turned into veteran players in terms of trades or anything like that?
Yeah.
As the draft comes along, you'll see the plan start to formulate because Bill does not want all those young players on his roster to develop. And just like Jim is saying, it's too complex. Sometimes a lot of the rookies, they get redshirt years. Either they get a little hammy, they get put on IR. We used to call them redshirt years in the locker room because they just sort of develop and learn while they're not playing. We'll see you next year. Those type of things, but they do all the time. They'll kick the tires on veterans, bring them in, tank check. How much they got left in the tank?
I like that, tank check.
Can they give you 1 year? But definitely, this team will not know who it is even when the regular season starts. Because when they bring in these veterans and they bring in those draft picks, they're going to figure out who they are because they like to change whatever their talent suits.
By the way, they did that with Randy Moss during the draft.
Yep.
Got him. Later on, Josh Gordon kicked the tires on Odell Beckham, kicked the tires on Antonio Brown, always kicking tires just to see what's out there. So, of course, they're going to be doing it on veterans who are out there right now.
What's interesting and somewhat remarkable about New England, you talk about the tank check. They've had guys who come in and it looks like the tank check has failed, and they come to Foxborough, and what do you know? That thing just seems to fill back up, at least temporarily, for a single season or two.
Yeah, I think another interesting point is going back to my time in New England. They have a really small draft board. I mean, it looks like a 2-day-old turkey. It's picked over. They don't have a lot of names up there. I mean, they draft for roles. There are specific roles on that board, and once those are gone, what's the point of drafting a player if you don't think he's going to help you that year? So that's when you're going to see a lot of those trades. That was a great point, Tedy.
Yeah, and I'll see those roles you talk about. Third down running back's a role. Slot receiver, that role. First and second down linebacker, that role. Situational pass rusher, that type of role. Nickel corner, that type of role. There's one role you can't draft and replace, though, and that's what Rob Gronkowski did. That type of role is not draftable. He just did too many things when he was healthy, the ability to keep defenses off guard in terms of what personnel is this really? Are they going to power run at us or split him out? Those guys don't grow on trees. That's the role that's going to be difficult to replace.
Jim, I would be interested in one thing. I know you haven't been in every draft room, but you've been in the Patriots. Would you argue their draft board is as small as, or as limited, if you will, as any in the league?
Yeah, I would think so. So, you know, a couple other teams I was with, much bigger boards. We're talking from 75 players maybe in New England in a typical year to other teams have over 300. So it varies by team, but you know, when you're working with that small of a draft board, I mean, you know who you want. You're really focused on those players, and once they're gone, that's when you start making those moves.